Welcome in audio technical difficulties already. You don't want to see a football screen, right? Who wants that? Jeremy Popielarz here with you always. I forgot to click the add to stream. I didn't want myself here, but hopefully you want me here. We're here to talk some week 7 football. Start sit questions, obviously, as always. Feel free to drop those in the comments, whether it's on Twitter or YouTube. Either way, should be able to get those up. And we got, some football going on over the pond there. We got some Jags Patriots going on. It's been, I would say it's a decently good game thus far. I'll say that. 4 London games. It's doing well. My boy Tank Bigsby has arrived again. It's a little early on him, but this year seems to be a good year for him, and he's definitely taken the reins there in Jacksonville as far as, showing that he is a solid, effective runner. So just got to get that out there. Loving it. Travis Etienne's not going to disappear. Don't worry. He'll be back once he is healthy, but still exciting things for Tank Bigsby, who found the end zone. Brian Thomas Jr. continues to ascend. Little bit of I didn't have him completely buried in my rookie rankings, but of all of the receivers, I was a little worried about Brian Thomas Jr. Obviously, he has silenced the critics there for me and probably many people who doubted him, at least as a rookie thus far. Plenty of questions that I had on my start sit thread this morning that have not been made to yet. So I will obviously circle back to those and get those to you as well here as we make our way towards the 1 p.m. kickoff. I think the biggest news to watch here is Cooper Kupp, who seems to be trending away from starting today. So there is that as well. So we'll go over that. And let's not keep everybody waiting too long. Kyle's dropping a question in here. So we'll rip them off. Let's start it. Who needs the fluff? We'll deal with the fluff when the questions end, right, Kyle? Singletary, Atwell, or Pierce Dynasty PPR. Tutu Atwell. Kind of just mentioned it there a little bit with Cooper Kupp. Seems like he's probably not going to play today, which leaves us with Whittington, who is supposed to play, Atwell, and Demarcus Robinson. I wouldn't say that the Raiders' pass defense is super leaky, but they're also not prolific by any means. So I'll go with Tutu Atwell here. The split with Singletary and Tracy could go rough for Singletary, could go rough for Tracy. We're not 100% sure. So I'm going to mitigate the concern there and go with a player that's going to be decently involved in Tutu Atwell. And obviously, yes, laugh out loud, Kyle. We don't want the fluff. Kyle wants the answers, and I'll give you the answers, Kyle. So yeah, I lean Tutu Atwell there for you, Kyle, this morning. All right. We got some, again, like I said, we got some questions to get back to here. So at Veckman on Twitter, full PPR, Neighbors, Deontay Johnson, Devontae Smith, Jaden Reed. We got to sit one of these. That's a rough one. I'm going to go with Devonta Smith here. Clear second target in this offense. Good matchup again, but Neighbors, yeah, we're firing Neighbors up. Jaden Reed's got to go, and Deontay Johnson, another must start. So Devontae Smith is the odd man looking out there for you, Steven. At 910 Queta on X, Debo Samuel, Amari Cooper, or Chuba Hubbard. It's got to be Chuba. Till we see Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard is the guy in that offense, and he's making it tick on the ground there. I think that Carolina can move the ball decently on the ground, if not through the air. Hubbard should find the end zone. Hey, feels like he's been rocking that one touchdown type games most of the week. He didn't score last week, not last year. Jeez Louise. It helps if I could use words. But he did have a 92-yard game last week from Hubbard, so I'm in on Chuba Hubbard again this week as a top 15 running back. Jason Bailey, we got Cooper, Devontae Adams, or Higgins. I'm going Devontae Adams. They already said there's no limitations on Devontae Adams. We all know we can try to pretend like Aaron Rodgers doesn't love himself a friend. But Devontae Adams will probably lead this team in targets this week. He will probably be fed, and Joey Porter is not stopping Devontae Adams. So at least not every single time. Porter may have his reps in there, but yeah, I'm going Devontae Adams here. I'm less worried about Devontae Adams than I am about Amari Cooper. As far as new teams, new places kind of vibes, I do think Cooper plays for the Bills today. Well, I mean, they kind of said he already is, but in a limited capacity to the point where he's a questionable start. If you have a rough flex position, there's spots where I'm starting Cooper for sure. But at this moment in time, I'm not actively pursuing to put Cooper in my lineup where I am with Devontae Adams, just because I think Adams gets just fed targets. All right. We got Annie here. Hey, man, Jordan. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Jordan Mason or Chase Brown. So here's the struggle here. Mason's ranked higher for me. I think that if Mason plays, Mason's going to have a solid day for sure. I know it's a tough matchup with Kansas City, but still solid. Chase Brown doesn't have that much of an easier matchup against Cleveland, although Cleveland's shown to be a little bit susceptible to the run thus far this season. So I do lean Mason slightly here, but if you're concerned about the injury, which could easily be re-aggravated with the shoulder being the issue, I'm fine just starting Chase Brown. I think they're close enough. One's running back 20, one's running back 18. So you're talking maybe 2 or 3 points is what my prediction has as far as those two being apart. So I'm fine with going with Chase Brown if you're concerned about the injury there. Manny is maybe what that's potentially supposed to say. I'm not 100% sure. So my apologies. I don't understand the declining graph emoji. Showing my age maybe a little. Reset season. What's up? Thanks for stopping by. You're here a lot. Remember the name. Appreciate the circling back. Much appreciated. Tight ends McBride. Do I flex Njoku, Irving, or Chubb? Not a lot of options. It depends what your waivers look like. I'm sure there's probably somebody maybe out there. Don't love many of these. I like Njoku. The question really comes is like, does he inherit some of the targets from Amari Cooper, or do they go to Cedric Tillman, or do they go to Jamari Thrash? Like, there's a lot of options in Cleveland, although none of them have really popped just yet. There are a plethora of receiver options there. So I do worry about Njoku a little bit because I just don't know where we're going. He may have a huge target share at this point in time, like an Evan Ingram style, where you can start him even as a flex type of player. And I think that's in the realm of possibilities. I'm avoiding Irving and Chubb, so I'd probably start Njoku here reset season. Irving has done most of his work on the ground. Baltimore's run defense is stout. So I'm leaning White actually over Irving this week, just because it's going to be probably a 3-headed monster. Whoever's going to see the passing work's probably the better back for the week, which I think will be Rachaad White. As much as we love to hate on his efficiency, he is still one of the more prolific pass catchers at the NFL level. So I think that White probably is a better option. So I'm going to avoid Irving today. Chubb, again, one of those situations of coming off the injury, want to see it before I plug him in kind of vibes. Do I think Chubb could find the end zone? Maybe. I don't think Chubb's the answer to the offensive issues in Cleveland. So I'm probably going Njoku here for you, unless there's somebody else on your waivers. If you want to toss some of the top names you like, maybe there's somebody out there on your waiver wire that might be worth a spot start for you there. GM671, Tracy or Madison. Oh, I'm fine risking Tracy here for you. I prefer Madison a little bit in my rankings just because I think there's that potential. He's obviously somewhat the lead. With the C, as far as let me double check here. Where am I going here? Too many windows open. Jeez Louise. Double check something quick. I believe Zamir White is still questionable, or was he ruled out? That's how much I care about Zamir White, but it does pertain to this question. White, yeah, still questionable. It's a 4:00 game, so we're not going to find out on this show. So I do worry if Zamir White goes at Madison. I mean, there could be some taken away from a very meh offense to begin with. So the issue is it's the Rams. So the Rams are very leaky against the run. So I lean Madison slightly. GM 671. But it's close. So I do lean Madison though. Camille, morning. Oh man, I have this dreaded cough going on right now. Please pick 2 half PPR: Waddle, Pittman, Pickens, and Juju. I lean Juju and Pickens. Those are the 2 highest ranked players for me. Waddle is intriguing. It's a very good matchup against Indianapolis. Coming off the bye, maybe Snoop Huntley's a little bit better as far as distributing the football goes. So Waddle has intrigue. Pittman, nah. Anthony Richardson just kind of kills Michael Pittman for me. So if anything, I would go Juju and Waddle if you're concerned about Pickens against the Jets. I think with Russell Wilson, Pickens might be a little better, but we're also hearing they may play both quarterbacks. So that's also a mess. That kind of concerns me a little bit with Pickens. So I do lean Juju and Pickens by the slightest margin of Pickens over Waddle. So if you have a vibe on Waddle, I'm cool with that as well. Obviously, it doesn't really matter if I'm cool with it because it's your team. You can do what you want. But kind of do lean a little bit towards the Pickens and Juju side there. Patrick, what's up? Good morning. I like the cornhole board picture. It's pretty sick. Jack Daniels. I'm always a Jack. You can't see it in the camera. There's an empty one over there. Always love me some Jack Daniels, Patrick. Let's see here. Or you could have Fant to scoop. I do believe I have likely ranked ahead of Fant. Well, they're back to back. Convenient. Let's double check something here. So Fant has Atlanta, and Atlanta historically, and they continue to be, they're only giving up 6.28 points to tight ends, just over 200 yards. They haven't allowed a touchdown yet. I feel like that Atlanta game is going to be a little bit of a DK Tyler Lockett type of game. Some JSN sprinkled in there. So I'd probably risk it with Likely. We've seen Likely be involved in that passing attack. They have Tampa Bay a little bit more leaky to the tight end position, averaging over 8 points per game. Still another team that hasn't given up a touchdown to the tight end position, but 304 yards and over 35 targets. So I think that's a good spot for Likely. I don't think either of these guys are week winners for you, we'll say. But I do think Likely has a better chance to give you not a 0. Which is kind of sometimes what we're shooting for at the tight end position, sadly. Chris Wicks, do we trust Aaron Jones healthy today and start him over Flowers? Yes and no. So I always like to, and I've always historically trusted the medical doctors of a football team. However, they've let me down lately, Chris. So there has been some doubt that has set in my mind, but I still like Aaron Jones. I have him as running back 15. It's a little bit lower than the rest of the people over here at FTN. So they like him more than I do. Flowers, I like. It's a good matchup against Tampa Bay. There'll be plenty of space out there against that secondary for him. And we've seen him eat here in the last few weeks against better matchups. So I'm fine going with Flowers if you're concerned about the injury, obviously. But I do think, and obviously it's a tough matchup on paper against Detroit as well. Now, the issue is with Detroit, they lost Hutchinson, which is going to be a huge blow to that defense. Now, right now, Detroit's only averaging 14 points to the position. For running backs, only 4 of that through the air and 10 on the ground. So they are a tough matchup. That's the, what are we, 4th best defense against running backs at the point in time. So it is a tough matchup. So I would almost say, let's go Flowers. I'm fine with it. I have Flowers as a top 20 option this week at the wide receiver position, which coincides pretty close to what a top 15 would be as a running back. So less disparity, I think, and potential variance with Flowers. So let's go there, Chris. Quarterback, I'm going Burrow. I know it's now historically Burrow hasn't beat Cleveland yet. Doesn't really do well against Cleveland, but I still am going to go Joe Burrow. Goff against Minnesota. Yeah, I know it's a good offense, but let's be real. That Minnesota defense has been very good. They only average 11 points to quarterbacks at this point in time. Now, Cleveland is right there too. They're at basically 11 as well. So still not loving it, but Minnesota has, like 11 interceptions. So, yeah, Goff may be a little more susceptible to that. So I'll go Burrow there. So Flowers and Burrow, long story short, Chris. Brendan, trade away Devonta Smith for Josh Jacobs. I have Waddle, Metcalf, Amon-Ra, and Smith. Need a running back. Do you like Smith or Waddle rest of the season with Tua? I would prefer Waddle to, well, hold on. Let's do the smart thing. I'm not 100% sure. Wide receivers. I'm not sure their playoff schedule. Let me double check. Where are you, Waddle? I just want to make sure before I make this, because the rest of the season, that's what we're looking for. Truthfully, in case you're wondering, anybody out there, that would be my strategy. Is when you're thinking rest of the season, who do they play? And let's see here. So Waddle, hypothetically, you're looking 14 through 17, roughly, depending on your league as playoffs. Waddle draws the Jets, Houston, San Francisco, Cleveland. So, not good. So I would rather have Devonta Smith, and that's not even looking at it, because we all know what happens when December comes. Tua and the Miami Dolphins turn into a pumpkin again. So, yeah, I would say if you can make this deal, see if you can send them Jalen Waddle for Josh Jacobs. If they would do that, I'm all in for it for you, Brandon. If not, it gets a little more dicey. It would depend for me on how bad I needed a running back, because everybody's need for running backs a little bit different. I have learned. Steven, what's up? Struggling with who to start, Jordan Mason and Kareem Hunt. It is a coin flip, pretty much. Both tough defenses. I would go Hunt. San Francisco has shown a little bit more susceptible on the ground than Kansas City has thus far this season, and Hunt doesn't really have any injury issues. Mason with that shoulder injury, it could flare up at any point, especially being a running back. Okay, reset season. Let's roll back here. Sorry, we had a lot of questions in between there. So we got Njoku, Irving, or Chubb. That's a pretty good waiver wire, my man. But I'd have to drop Irving, Bears defense, or Dowdle. I mean, I'd be fine dropping a defense. I don't know how much points your defense scores in your leagues, but I always stream defense. I don't really get too crazy into having to have the same defense. So I'm fine with dropping the Bears defense as long as you have another one to start. So, which you probably do. But I like Whittington. Palmer's in a good spot this week. Hopkins, meh. Could have a good day, but meh. Dubes, decent spot. It is Houston's defense who's been pretty good, but Dubes is still very highly involved in that Green Bay passing attack, which they'll have to use today to keep up with Houston. So, yeah, I mean, I would drop either the Bears. I wouldn't really drop Irving. Like, the name is still out there. Dowdle, you could probably drop and re-pick up, to be honest. So, up to you as far as those go, but I would either go the defense or Dowdle and pick up probably Whittington or Dubes would probably be my play. I like Palmer, but Arizona can be ran on too, and we may just see a Michigan game come out here, and we could just see a ton of J.K. Dobbins and Kamani Vidal Monday night. So I'd go Whittington or Palmer there, or Whittington or Dubes. Sorry, can't speak this morning. All righty. What's up, Rachel? How you doing? We got Cook, Hunt, Moss. Pick one. Come on, Rachel. Don't overthink it. Don't do it. You're doing it. You're overthinking it. Everybody's overthinking it. It's James Cook. Come on. Let's be real. We've got Ray Davis had a hamstring injury leading into the week. He may end up being inactive, in which you'll see, Ty Johnson, maybe some Frank Gore behind James Cook. James Cook's logged some full practices. It's going to be a lot of James Cook today. It's a good secondary in Tennessee. We're not going to see a ton of Amari Cooper, but they'll open it up. It's going to be much of what we've learned to grow accustomed to for James Cook. So I'm going James Cook here, 100% here for you, Rachel. Not even thinking twice. Steven, morning, Steven. Do I worry about Deontay and take a flyer on MHJ or even Watson? Yeah, I mean, Houston's secondary is a little beat up. Not to the point that I love Christian Watson that much more. The issue with Christian Watson, and this has always been my issue. I've been historically, I don't like Christian Watson guy. And the issue is there's just too many mouths to feed, and his role doesn't breed consistency. And ultimately what we're trying to do is reduce variance and You're trying to pick the guy who's going to score the most points every week. Christian Watson could score them every week, but it's more than likely he's not going to do that. Will he have his weeks like he had last week? Yeah, for sure. We'll see him. It's much like Jameson Williams. Same thing. That's why I don't love Jameson Williams. Like, I get people really like them. Like, does the upside there? Yeah, but if you can't give it to me at least on some consistency and predictability, less in on it, and Williams has gotten more consistent this year for sure. So it can develop, obviously. But yeah, so I'm not really in on Christian Watson, long story short. I would probably just play Deontay Johnson for sure. I like Marvin Harrison Jr., but it's a really tough matchup against the Chargers. Their secondary has been very good, and Kyler's already struggling. So like I have Marvin Harrison as like a wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 2. Like I don't love Marvin Harrison this week by any means. So I'm got him benched in a couple spots. I think I think the one spot I have him, I think he's benched. I think I only have him in one. Dynasty, I didn't have anything for Marvin Harrison this year, unfortunately. But yeah, Deontay would probably be my call. Yeah, I mean, I think Waddle could have a big day, Steven. 100%. I agree. I nothing against the Indianapolis Colts secondary, but and I may be able to do better. No, hell no. My daughter could maybe though. She likes to run around a lot. I bet she could probably cover some of it. But yeah, no. I'm in on Jalen Waddle a little bit, like I said. This week for sure. Rest of the season though, Steven, Waddle's schedule not looking that great. You're welcome, Patrick. You're welcome, Chris. Another one what we got here. Jacobs, Achane, Cook, and Hunt. Choose 2. Leaning Achane and Jacobs. Yeah, I mean, I personally would lean Jacobs and Cook. Kind of just talked about it there. I think you're going to see a lot of James Cook today. I think the Bills should handle Tennessee pretty easily, especially if Ray Davis is inactive. You'll still see James Cook. He's logged some full practices. They missed last week for the pure purpose of being healthy and being ready to go. I think you'll see a decent amount of Cook today. Jacobs, I'm not in love with Jacobs this week. I've seen a lot of people have him ranked pretty high, but thus far, we've got where we got here. He's got Houston, and Houston has only allowed 15 points to the position, and most of that has kind of been on the ground ish. But they're only allowing an average 10 points per game on the ground. And game script dependent, it seems like this will be a little bit more of an Emmanuel Wilson type of game for Green Bay. I think Houston could get out on them a bit. So, like, I'm not in love with Jacobs, to be honest. So I would kind of go Cook and Jacobs, but Achane is like right behind Cook for me, or Jacobs in my rankings. I've moved Cook back a little bit, but they're all right around each other. So I would go Cook and Achane personally. Vibes, Tank Dell or Garrett Wilson. I actually like Wilson. Go Dell. I lied. Don't listen to me. I'd go Tank Dell. They're close to me for rankings. I do have Garrett Wilson, I think, ranked a spot or two ahead. But that may flip flop for me here in a minute or two. I really do think Davante Adams gets fed pretty well. I think Wilson will benefit from having a softer quote unquote coverage. But I think that in week 1, there's going to be a lot of force fed targets to Davante Adams from Rodgers. So I'm going to go ahead and go Tank Dell there for you, Vibes. David, play Tracy or Singletary with McConkey being questionable, or just hope he plays? Oh, we never want to play the just hope he plays. David, if there's someone else you can get, feel free to toss him in here at the end. Not at the end of the show. I'm lying to you. Whenever you hear the end of this statement. If you can't add anybody else, like you're playing Tracy. Okay. Ultimately, it's a good spot for him. But I go back to, I did this show week 1 and I told a lot of people, yeah, CMC is going to play. James Cook, he's going to play. And they, that's where my distrust with medical doctors have come from. But either way, yeah. So David, if there's some options, feel free to toss them in there, see who else is flexible. because you do have 2 Monday night games, and you may know before the first one if McConkey's good to go or not. So feel free to toss it in there. If there isn't anybody and you can just look and you're like, yeah, no, these guys are all bad, just play Tracy. What's up, Romeo? Let's see here. Who do I start for my flex? I hope you don't actually mean Rodney White. It would be unless there's some super secret Rodney White that I really know. But Jerry Jeudy, Austin Eckler. Also, should I accept this trade Devontae for CD Lamb? I mean, I want CD Lamb for the trade. I'll start there for sure, 100%. As much as we love it, Devontae's still got to deal with Wilson. I know that I think that Devontae will get fed from Aaron Rodgers, 100%. But they're both. If we're expecting Green Bay, Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, you guys must have time machines because we're not going to get the same thing. It's going to be good, but not CD Lamb, Dak at their prime, which I think we may see after their bye week here. As far as your start goes here, Romeo, I'd go Austin Eckler. A good spot against Carolina. They can be ran on. Brian Robinson kind of dealing with an injury. I think he still plays to the fullest, but good spot still for Austin Eckler to have a decent day. And I'm going to wait and see here on the Cleveland passing attack to see what we get. Because now Judy's going to draw the top coverage likely. And how's that going to be? He hasn't really faced that a ton in his career, so I want to see that a little bit moving forward before I slam Judy into my lineups. Reset season, do you like Whittington, Trey Tucker, or Dubes over Josh Downs? I have Josh Downs ranked higher. Not crazily. I have Downs at 30. Whittington's at 37. Tucker's down a little ways, so Tucker's a little out of it for me. And then Dubes is at 38. So they're all fairly close, at least Whittington, Dubes, and Downs. So I do lean Downs a little bit. Miami has been tough against quarterbacks, and they actually have limited them as far as it goes on the ground. Also, I think with Anthony Richardson having his issues with his hip and everything, I do think that their path to success will be passing the football a little bit. So I'm going to go Josh Downs there for you, reset season. Kyle Cup is out. Christian Watson or Whittington? I'd go Whittington. I think there's just a little bit more target volume, a little bit more consistency there for me. The splash plays won't be there. So Christian Watson, could get you, 10 points in one play. But I do think that Whittington will have more volume and a little bit safer of a play, Kyle. Morning, we got Goff or Murray here for James. Also streaming Commanders defense. Do I worry? No, I wouldn't be worried about the Commanders defense. I think it'll be all right. I don't know if it's going to be stellar for the Commanders, but they could shut out Carolina. Doubt it, but should be okay. Maybe 5 or 6 points. I don't even know a ton with the defensive scoring sometimes. Like the Saints managed to get me 2 points somehow on Thursday night. That was a rough go. Should have dropped them. I should have knew it. Didn't do it, but I did. Here we are. As far as Goff and Murray goes, I'd go Murray. I know he's struggling a little bit, but Goff against Minnesota scares me. It's the truth of it. That's where it's at. Top receivers. Sorry, David, go back here. We are talking about the McConkey issue. McLeod, Demarcus Robinson, Atwell, Noah Brown, Goodson, Wilson. Yeah, so it's nobody tomorrow. Oh. Yeah, I just play Tracy, David. Ayuk, Jameson, Pickens, start 2. Ayuk and Jameson. For you, Chris, it's pretty easy. I'm worried with Pickens. Like I said a little bit earlier, you got the 2 quarterbacks potentially. You've got, a good Jets secondary. So I'll go with Ayuk and Jameson Williams. Oh, wow. I haven't had anybody ask me Darnold or Stroud in a bit. And I'm a little puzzled because I don't exactly remember where they are. Oh, look, they're back to back. That would explain why. I'm gonna go. Man, you're making this tough on me. I have Stroud at 7. I have Darnold at 8. So it's truthfully a coin flip. I lean Stroud. I do. I think that this matchup is a little bit more back and forth. Um, but you can throw all over Detroit. So I really like Darnold too. But yeah, I'm gonna go CJ Stroud. I think it's a little bit more competitive. I think that CJ has to be a little bit more involved in the passing game in that one. All right, let's try to catch up here on some of these questions on X. We got Pack Family need one. Najee Wandle, Tyrone Tracy would be Najee for me. We've got Michael need one. Marvin Harrison, Deontay Johnson, Tank Dell. I would go Deontay Johnson there. John, Aaron Jones, Debo, or Flowers. I would go Debo. I still think Debo can have a good day. I know it's a tough matchup against Kansas City, but I still like him today. So someone dropped Tucker Craft. Would you drop him for either Bucky Irving or Dunze? I've been riding with Kincaid. I'd still ride Kincaid. I don't think that like Tucker Craft isn't seeing a ton of target volume either. Like you're just going a lateral move there from Craft to Kincaid. Craft just had a couple blow up games, so we haven't had yet from Kincaid, but I think it could be coming a little bit extra help from the likes of Amari Cooper in the back passing attack, maybe getting a little more vertical will help Dalton Kincaid tremendously. So need 3 here: Monty, Jacobs, Hunt, MHJ, or Connor. So I'd go Monty, Jacobs, Hunt would be my 3 there for you. Oh, I mean, if you can, David, I would add Palmer now. I mean, I like Tracy still, David. So I mean, I guess it's really up to you if you still want to just go with the guy today. I lean McConkey a little bit. I think it's a really good matchup against Arizona. But what you could do is, like I said, what I was getting to is just add Palmer. If McConkey can't go, Palmer's a good plug and play there for Lad McConkey. I'd rather have Tolbert, James, 100%. I think that he's proven to be earning a role even when Brandon Cooks comes back. I was in on Jalen Tolbert all season, so I like Jalen Tolbert over Bateman. Although I do like Rashad Bateman. It's been a rough go for him, sadly. Benizimo, Brian Robinson, Harrison, Connor need 2. I would go Robinson and Connor. Shakir or Downs for Preston. I would go Downs. PPR need to pick 2: Devonta Smith, Tyreek Hill, Pickens, Charbonnet. I would go Smith and Sharbs if Walker is out, and then Hill if he is not. Oh man, this wicked cough is killing me, boys and girls. Tony, Burrow, or Mayfield would be Mayfield, and Pickens or Watson. Pickens for me. Juju, Waddle, or Amari for Jabbo. I'd go Waddle. Chubb, Tracy, or Pickens would be Tracy and Pickens. Oh, maybe Benson. Benson could have a day today though. Probably Singletary, to be honest, David. Who else are your running backs? Toss those in here quick, David, because it feels like Singletary is like the least exciting safety valve for you at running back. Um, and feels like the least useful of this group. Benson could be huge if we see Connor go down. I mean, DeMarcado is going to get used, but still a very productive, explosive back. So I lean towards Singletary, but Zay Flowers over Worthy here for you, ECSJLH79. And I would go Achan over Chubb as well. Walker is playing. Definitely muddies the waters a little bit for Walker. But if it was an illness, I'm sure they pumped him with IVs and fluids, and they will probably do it on the sidelines. We'll be all right. Still start Walker. Need to pick up Cousins. Would have to drop Shakir or Fields. Thoughts? I'd probably drop Fields. All right. DeMarquez, 12-man leagues, scoring, Tracy, Dubes, or Leggett. I'd go Tracy. Whittington or Jameson Williams. I would go Whittington. Other running backs are Cook, Gibbs, Tracy, Singletary, Benson, Bigsby. Yeah, I'd drop Singletary for Palmer if that's the route you want to go. Or just start Tracy and don't drop anybody. I mean, it's really up to you, David. I think the difference between Tracy and McConkey is not that much, to be honest, to go through the hassle of all that. But if you want to, feel free. Need one wide receiver, one flex. Christian Watson, Downs, Wandell, Jordan, Mason. So I'd go Wandell. And Mason. Debo or Achan. I'd go Debo. Looks like Ray Davis is playing. Holy cow, it's 11:30 already? People, it's flying here. McConkey or Pickens. I'd go McConkey. For Dennis on X. Heather, McConkey, Downs, Pittman Jr. Running back 2 slot, Bucky, Tracy, or Sermon. I'd go Tracy for MDM. Baker or Burrow for Tay. I'd go Baker. Chubb or Downs. I'd go Downs. I'm not in as far as like Nick Chubb just coming in and taking off as the guy. Derek Downs or Connor. I'd go Connor in this situation there. Need to sit one between Tyreek Hill, Jaden Reed, Deontay Johnson. Tyreek, sadly. Man, I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be Tyreek, unfortunately. Wallace, Monty, Diggs, Mason, or Cooper. I would go Diggs there. Ball out. Need to start 2. JSN, McConkey, Douglas, or Juju. You missed the train on Douglas, so FYI. But McConkey and Juju. Ayuk or Josh Downs. I would go Ayuk there for you, Mitch. Wandell or Mooney for Gabe. I'll go Mooney. Slight margin there, Gabe, but I'm going to go Mooney. Jonathan Martinez, Connor, or Chase Brown. I would go Brown there. Tank Bixby. Sergio Mahomes or Purdy would be Purdy. ECSJLH. Purdy over Geno Smith for me. A lot of people like Geno Smith today against Atlanta. I'm not like soups in. Like, I'm not opposed to him. But I still like Brock Purdy against Kansas City. I think that game's a little bit more fun for us as far as fantasy goes. Cups ruled out. Got DK, Flowers, Higgins, or Worthy. Higgins. BZCK, pick 2, Addison, Waddle, or Juju. I'd go Addison and Juju. Monte or Juju. Monte. For sure for Buck Arms. Full PPR, Connor or Mason. I would go Mason for JT here. Let's see here. Aaron Jones, Mason, Amari Cooper, pick 1. Jones. For me there, Kyle. Which 2 wide receivers would you play for Adam? Whittington, Dubes, or Juju? Whittington and Juju. Whoops. James, is Thielen worth picking up in IR? He's available, but not sure he's worth. Probably not. I mean, sadly, like, don't you think Carolina has to go to Bryce Young at some point? I'll leave you with that as I drink. I mean, they have to, right? Like, what's the point? Like, you're not good. Like, you're not making the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl. So, like, they're going to go to Bryce Young, and then, like, this whole passing attack just falls apart. So, James, it's not worth your hassle. Just telling you the truth. Just being honest with you. Dr. Jesse Moore. Oh, whoa. Words here. Person on X. Phenoms Fantasy 1. Watch your language. Jalen Coker, 3K, solid. Wasn't even really a start-sit question. Let's go Blues. Baker or Love? I'll go Love there. A little secret, my projections like always have Baker Mayfield like quarterback 2, and I could never just like rank them there. There's some movement between the projections, but like my initial run, I'm always like he's like quarterback 2 at the moment because it's just how many passing touchdowns they throw. Just letting you guys know, but it still like Love. It's just something a perplexing thing that happens to me every week. Phil Witzer, Mooney or Sermon? That's Mooney. One day maybe I'll just like rank them at 1, see if it works out. I don't know. I could never do it though with Baker Mayfield. Hunter Hendricks, Lockett or Whittington would be Lockett. Corey, we got here Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, or Deontay Johnson. A few injuries, but expected to play. Darnold or Kyler? I would go DJ and Wilson. And then I would go Darnold over Kyler there for you, Corey. Ethan, I have Garrett Wilson, Deontay Johnson, Mooney, Downs, Wan'Dale Robinson, Christian Watson. Don't know who to start and put in flex. Ethan, that's a good lineup. I would say DJ and Wilson. Pass for life. I have to bench roster spot. Who do I add? Pacheco or Jalen or Brooks? Um, I'd probably say maybe Pacheco. This is kind of a bone injury. I feel like that's a little easier to come back from than like a full on ligament issue. So I guess I'd go Pacheco. Starting, sorry, David. Starting Cook, Brian Robinson, Devontae, and Connor have Ridley, Pickens, and Mooney on my bench. Change anything? I mean, I would maybe Mooney over Connor. Kind of toss up though, David. If you already were leaning Connor, just stick with it. But I do like Mooney today. Ball out. Who should I start? I feel like I answered that question already for you. Benji, morning, need some help. Wide receiver, Wandell, Dubes, or D Hop. Good luck today. Good luck to you, sir. But I'm going to go Wandell. Benji, best of luck to you. My teams are, hopefully, they're good. I didn't actually have too many tough decisions today. I feel like mainly because my teams have some struggles and issues, but some were there. But Alex Delfonso, Pollard, or DK. I'm going to go Pollard. I think it's a good spot. The Bills are, against running backs. Don't want to talk about it, especially pass catching running backs. So no Will Levis means Mason Rudolph. What really we should be taking away from this is the fact that he's not going to run. So Mason Rudolph will be dumping it off to Tony Pollard, hopefully a ton. And Pollard will get a ton of points for me in Scott Fishbowl. Anyways, BK, Juju, Eckler, Downs, or Pickens, flex PPR. I'll go Juju. F. Dingler, top of the morning. Top of the morning. I like that. I wonder if you're over there on the London side of the bridge. It does say USA, though, on your thing. But top of the morning, I like that. Maybe we'll start using it. So I'm going to start the show every week now, everybody. Top of the morning. Mason was clear to play, but do we start fear of decoy? I would play him. I do think we see some Garundo, though. I have Garundo ranked a little bit higher than a lot of people. I think we see a little bit of a mix. And could see Garundo on the way out as well if Mason does aggravate that shoulder injury. Shoulders are tough. It's really a pain tolerance thing, and you get whacked a couple times in the shoulder, falling on it as a running back could definitely be an issue to re-aggravate that. JP Doran, Achan, or Jameson Williams would be Achan for me. K. Dotton versus the Ravens or Zach Ertz. Non-PPR. Oh, wow, that's a rough one. I'm going to go Ertz, though. Non-PPR tight end. Oh my God, it's making me cough. James, either Colts backup running back versus Tracy. Yeah. Don't worry. The Colts are going to be a mess. It's either going to be Sermon or Goodson. Against Miami. Miami's decent against the run. Not stellar by any means, but decent. I'll take Tracy against Philadelphia. I think that's a good old divisional matchup. They're going to want to beat Philadelphia. Who doesn't? Tracy will be a little bit more involved, I think, this week. Obviously, Singletary will take some from him, but I think you'll still see a decent workload. Tracy's earned it. Mason, JSN, JMO, or Juju for Wyatt. I'll go Mason. I agree, James. Tracy's fun, The new exciting toy, older rookie, but guy I wasn't super high on. Gave me the Gibson vibe. I guess, though, it is really Antonio Gibson all over again. Transferred running back, has a good season as a rookie. We may never hear from him again. Hopefully not, but I'm just saying. Very Antonio Gibson vibes for me, for Tracy. Zach, need a running back, 2 flex in full PPR. Mason, Tracy, Bucky, Juju. Oh, need a running back and 2 flexes. I see. Okay. So we've got Mason, Tracy, and Juju would be my call here for you, Zach. Thomas, Tracy, B-Rob, or Mason. Pick 2. B-Rob and Mason. Drake May dealing out there right now. I mean, they're getting thumped, but That's a nice ball. Don't mind me getting sidetracked. My apologies. John Doe. Hey, man, need to pick 3. MHJ, Jordan Mason, Amari Cooper, Juju, Tracy. So Tracy, Tyrone Tracy, don't let me down this week. Or Jordan Mason. Stay healthy, both of you, please. For yourselves and for my sanity. But Tracy Mason, I'd go Marvin Harrison Jr. there, John Doe. Cooper could be interesting, though, but Tim Sansing, Tracy Mostert, or Whittington. I'm going to go Tracy. For you, Tim. Devontae Smith, Ingram, or Dubes. You missed Ingram there for you. He is already playing. But I'm going to go Smith for you anyways. How is Evan Ingram doing? I haven't totally been paying attention to this game. Oh, no, Drake May. Almost threw an interception. Gosh dang it. Just as I talked nicely about you. Clash Low, Dell, or Harrison Jr. I'll go Dell. Tank Dell's going to be in a spot. Until Nico Collins comes back, Tank Dell's almost a plug and play. What's up, Garrick? Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason? I'm going to go Jones. Both are dealing with injury issues. I have Jones ranked the lowest at FTN currently at 15, but everybody likes him as a top 25 type running back, or well, top 15 technically. So I would go Aaron Jones there for you. We're going to have to get the inactives here, see if there's any surprises that I've missed. In a minute here. I got to catch up a little behind here on the questions. Let's see here. It's like on X with Cooper Cup out. I need to flex play Algier, Vidal, Judy, or Leggett. I would go Leggett there. Aren't you Michael Hasty again? Oh, KJ Osborne. Okay, makes sense. Corey, I think I already answered that question for you. Pollard or Mixon for Brad. I'll go Mixon here. I heart tackles, Waddle or Leggett. I'll go Waddle there. Daniel Trunsko on X, Irving, Downs, Mostert, or Whittington. I'd go Downs. Johnny, start 3, Watson, Pickens, Wilson, and McLaurin, Packers, Steelers, or pick up Bengals. Okay, so I want Wilson, McLaurin, Pickens, and pick up Bengals and drop pack. Big Papa, need 1. Singletary, Tracy, Moss, Vidal, or Foreman. I'd go Tracy. Jennifer Anderson, start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. The entire lineup. Henry, Mason, Achan, Gibbs. Okay, so Henry, Achan, Metcalf, Wilson, Jacobs. Okay. Michael Rainey, Cooper, Smith, DeJigba, Jameson, Williams, Jameson, Michael, James Morton, Hurts, or Mayfield. I would go Hurts there. James. Pick 3, full PPR, Aaron Jones, T. Higgins, Lockett, Algier. Aaron Jones, Higgins, and Lockett. Let's see here. Thomas, start 2. Pollard, Bowers, or Hunt. Pollard and Bowers would be my go-to here, Thomas. Different. I have James. I have Hall, Pollard, Monty as my running back ones. Tracy's flex, Vidal Tucker on the bench. I only have Aaron Jones, Addison as wide. Oh, AJ Brown, Addison as wide receiver. Would you trade a running back 1 to get a better receiver? If so, who? Not wrong setting. It's all right, James. I mean, it depends on how many you can start in your league scoring. I guess if you're only starting 2 wide receivers, I mean, AJ Brown and Addison isn't a bad start. Starting pair, I would say. I would see if you can maybe send Hall or Pollard or Monty for a pair of like a running back and a wide receiver back. It's tough, James. I feel like even the running backs you have, like they're good value. And what happened that you don't have another receiver? It seems like there's an injury or something there, James. Is there someone on IR that you have? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could try. I don't know if it's gonna work out well, but I don't know if you can trade one of those running backs in like the safety. Like there isn't safety in Tucker Vidal, like behind it. Vidal maybe if there's an injury to Dobbins. Tucker if there's an injury, 2 injuries ahead of him. You know what I mean? Like there isn't a ton of real depth there. It's kind of false depth. It's like what I refer to it as. Samir White. That will do it. Gotcha. So that's how you got Monty. Okay. Yeah, I mean, try to maybe send. Obviously, like Monty, good call. I would maybe see if you can sell higher on Pollard at the moment. See if you can give him away for somebody. I wouldn't hate that. Mooney or Downs, and Downs are Worthy. So Mooney over Downs, and then Downs over Worthy. David. Let's see here. GLC, Ayuk, Worthy, or Juju would be Ayuk for GLC on X. Let's see here. Who would you drop? Odunze, Tolbert. I don't know. Singletary, I guess. Aaron. Not really sure there. Don't have a ton of full context there, but what is this question about here? Oh, DJ. Not a ton. Zach Moss or Tracy. I would go Tracy. I think we're catching up here. It's almost 12. Yeah, I think we're starting to catch up here on some of these questions. Luckily, my brain is starting to spin here. Let's see here. We got Geno Smith or Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold or Rodgers. I would go. Whoa, what is going on here? What are you typing here? Good old computers here. Cousins and Darnold would be my play there for Go Canes. Zenden, Downs or Cooper, non PPR. Wandell, Jameson, Downs, PPR. I would go Downs and Wandell. Hmm. All right. Lost my spot here, folks. Give me 1 second. There she is. Thomas, start 2 of 3. Oh, I already did this question. Wait, Thomas, my bad. Not gonna repeat it. Deron, Wendent, Najee, or Mason. I'd go Najee there. The Jets can be ran on. Let's be honest. Surprisingly, but they can. Let's see here. Friend Johnny, need a flex. Lazard, excuse me, Tracy, Watson, or Waddle. I'd go Tracy. Mate on X Sermon or Eckler would be Eckler for me. Need a flex between Achan, Madison, Mostert, or Juju for Kevin. On X, I would go Achan there. Morning, Mike. Let's see here. Ken Walker, Mason, or Hunt. Ooh, I'd go Walker. Said they're good to go. Stay healthy. It's just an illness. IVs will clear it. I'd go Ken, Mike. Too explosive to bench. J Mild, would you start Aaron Jones over any of the following, though? Mason, Hudson, Goodson. Goodson, yeah. For sure. Achan over Marvin Harrison Jr. for Eric on X would be a hard yeah. Yeah. I need help. JSN, Juju, Whittington. Juju and Whittington are questionable right now. E, comma, D. Juju. And nice thing is you can pivot to Whittington if Juju doesn't play. ED. Okay, let's see here. Learning the multitasking type would be very, very helpful. I can do it for short things, but when I got to write a whole sentence, it makes life complicated. Try it. Maybe there's better typers out there. I don't know. Either way, which quarterback should I start? Mahomes, Rodgers, or Cousins? I'm going Cousins. Let's be honest. Seattle can be thrown on. We can do it. Cousins has some good weapons, so I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins there. Palace, Ash, D Hop, or Leggett. I'm taking Leggett. Leggett's been getting more and more involved. Good matchup against the Washington secondary, so I am in on that. Eric Morham, Chubb, or Singletary. I'd go Chubb. In this territory, risk it for the biscuit, Eric. Risk it. Robert Brown, we got Higgins or Flowers. I'll go Flowers there. Really good matchup for him today. Praisdale, MHJ, Ayuk, Jameson, Williams. I go Ayuk there. This cough is killing me, man. Jeffrey, Whittington, Juju, or I also have Downs. Mm, I'm gonna say Downs here. It's close. Anthony Richardson really hurts Josh Downs, but it's not terrible. Carl, Juju, or Waddle. I'll go Waddle. It's got to happen some point, right? Irving, Tracy, or Singletary would be Tracy for Michael on X. What are we looking at here? Teddy is asking me a question. That's Michael. Why is this not working? All right, mate, Murney. Can't speak here. Mooney or Sermon would be Mooney for me. Oh my god, this call. People, I apologize. Probably coughing right into this mic, and you guys are probably hearing it super loud. Carl Mason or Achan would be Achan. Billy for my flex PPR. B Rob, Waddle, Goodson, Sermon. Also think of between Waddle and Watson. B Rob for sure. And play Waddle over Watson. Sean Mason or Aaron Jones. I would go Aaron Jones. All right. Looks like we're caught up. That's a plus. All righty, folks. We have reached the catch-up point, which is a plus. Very muchly a plus. So let's check the inactives. See if there's anybody inactive that I suggested to start. Nothing crazy in Atlanta. Nothing crazy in Buffalo. Nothing crazy in Cincinnati. Nothing surprising in Cleveland. Nothing in Houston. Nothing Green Bay. Detroit. Nothing in Indy. Nothing in Miami. Nothing in Minnesota. Yeah, nothing surprising. So that was a quick, easy portion of the segment there. Defense, Detroit or Minnesota? I'd go Minnesota. If I could spell. I'd go Minnesota on that side. If I had to pick a defense from that matchup, it's probably where I'm going. Let's see here. Let me go through. Let me double check and make sure I got all the questions. I think I did. So we're gonna scroll through to double check. Oh, Patrick Humez. See, I missed one. I knew I did. T. Higgins or Debo. That would be Debo for me. I like the spot for him. I know Kansas City's a tough matchup, but Debo's different than just like wide receiver. You know, he's not like, oh, they don't let up points to wide receivers. Like, that's cool. Brandon Ayuk's probably more of the iffier question, in my opinion, this week. Looks like we got them all. Alrighty. Oh, we got some coming in now. Baseline junkies. Start one. Tucker Craft, Andrews, or Parkinson. Oh boy. Best of luck. I'll go Craft. I don't love the spot for him. It's a tough matchup against Houston. But I'll go with Craft there. Okay. Buddha Mike, Crafter Andrews, another Crafter Andrews. Question would be Craft. Deontay Reed, Flowers, Debo. Who should I bench? Please pick one. Um uh, uh, I guess Zay. I don't want to, but guess Zay there, Ivan. Standard score in Devontae Adams or Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be Adams. For me, I still think that he's pretty heavily involved early on in this week 7, even though made that switch. Looks like we're dying out here on some questions. We are closing in. It's almost 12:30, so makes sense. The game on TV is heating up, so that's probably playing into it a little bit. People got to get their London fix in. Don Dada on X, Tyler Goodson, Lazard, or Warren. I'd go Warren there for you, Don. I think it's a good spot. Brandon Hicks, Monty, or Walker. I'm gonna. Oh man, Walker. Sorry, I was trying to hold that cough in. It was not working. Holy cow. Mm. Looks like Jacksonville's gonna hold on, boys and girls. Let's see here. Oh, Christian, Pollard, Mozart, or Mason? I'd go Pollard there. Hmm. Um, Evan Soul Blue. Who do I play? Cooper, Shakir, or Juju? I'd go Shakir there. Alrighty. Well, it is looking like we're drying up here a little bit. So we're probably going to get out of here at 12:30 for sure. Christian's got one here. JSN or Mark Andrews. I'd go JSN there. Um, again, thank you for coming in and watching. If you have tuned in and stayed the entirety of the time, I appreciate that. Much appreciated. If you're not a member of FTN Fantasy, you can head on over there. You can get the rankings that I'm basically using to answer most of these questions there. And you can get those answers a little bit quicker. You can also get in our Discord chat where you can get answers to questions earlier in the week as well. You can also get dynasty questions, trade questions, whatever you possibly could need. Those questions would be answered in our Discord chat. You can also get a ton of access to stats, any stat you could possibly want. We have all of that over there as well, to kind of start to figure out who is that next, Tyrone Tracy or the, next real breakout player coming up. And you can look at the stats and figure it out yourself if you want. It's a lot of fun. Get lost in the stats. There's tons of it. Everything and anything. Tons of filters. You can pick for when it's a rainy day. You can pick when it's a snowy day. We've got all of those filters customizable over there. So definitely check that out. Also get all my work over there as well. So content for dynasty stuff, scouting stuff as we near the NFL draft. We get a ton of scouting reports as well over there. So that's a ton of fun. Check that out if you have not yet, for sure. Remember, ftnfantasy.com. And if you're not, follow me at PopesFFH. It's there on the screen on X. I link pretty much everything that I do there as well. And make sure you come back next week. For sure. 100%. Stop back in. That's it. Let's call it. It's been a productive day. So let's call it there. Tank Bigsby just scored his second touchdown of the day. So making me feel excited and fun. Hopefully I recommended to start him for you. And you did. We got one question. Aaron Jones, Deontay Johnson. I would go Deontay Johnson there. And we're going to end it on a DJ question. So thank you for stopping in again. And until next week, best of luck. Good luck. Hopefully all of these suggestions work and you guys and gals have a good week. Good week 7. Enjoy it. Oh, Nikki. See, Nikki, she's sneaking in here. All right, we'll hang out till 12:30. I tried to get out of here early. But let's see here. Sit 1, Tracy, Singletary, or Lazard. I'd probably sit Lazard, Nikki. Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson. Like, Lazard's probably the third option, and it could be a decent day. See, what you get me, though, is both running backs from the Giants, which we don't want. But I don't love Lazard either. Maybe Singletary. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to forget everything I just said. Go Tracy and Lazard. The only reason is I don't know if I want both Giants running backs. Like, I think there's maybe some volume for one of them, not both of them, against Philadelphia. And I'm going to lean towards Tracy, a little bit more athletic, explosive player than Singletary. Could maybe get us some points there. And then Lazard, quarterback 3. I mean, maybe it's a tough Pittsburgh Steelers secondary, so maybe they kind of lean towards the third option in the passing attack a little bit more. Go Tracy and Lazard as your starts. Sit Singletary. All right, what's 12 more minutes, right? I'll hang out with y'all. Christian's got another question here. Anyways, would you put JSN or Jalen Warren for half PPR? I'd go Warren. Perfect. Much appreciated. Same thought. Agreed. It's just tough to stack, especially when you have a low volume pass or rushing offense. Like, I don't want both running backs started, even when they're a good one. Like, you have Bijan or Tyler Algier. Like, if you're really down in the dumps and you got nobody to start and you have to. But if you have an option like that where Lazard's close enough, just moving forward, like don't really stack. I mean, at times it probably works, but you're creating more of a headache for yourself. Then at least you can just go in there and just root for Tyrone Tracy to get the ball instead of Devin Singletary, instead of both of them running for 200 yards each, which will never happen. So, let's see here. All righty. All right. Nikki gets the last question. We're going to call it. Again, much of what I mentioned earlier there. Check out ftnfantasy.com. Make sure you come back next week. Enjoy my lovely face. We could talk about it. Even if I was wrong, maybe I'll be right next week. We'll work through it together. Just constantly looking for improvement and getting better. And that's why we love this game. It's not perfect. If we're all good at it, it'd be boring. So, this constant drive, much like golf, is what drives us to the game of trying to find that perfect lineup, and we'll get there. Just remember, if you're 1-5, 0-6, we gotta get that first win under our belt, and let's make it to the dance. Squeak in. A couple of my teams last year were final seeds in the playoffs, and won it. So that's all you gotta do. You gotta get hot at the right time, much like the World Series, much like the Stanley Cup playoffs, much like basketball. I would think basketball's kind of the same. Don't really watch it, so I don't know. But either way, get hot at the right time. We've seen those runs happen, and it can happen as well in fantasy. So stick with it. Crunch that waiver wire and keep it rolling. Let's start with a win today, and have a good day as well, Nikki, and take care, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you next week.